Like and subscribe. Oh, who the hell cares? I'm fucking pissed. Ninja Gaiden 2, our Lord and Savior, has been stuck in the Xbox ecosystem for over a decade now. In 2019, the Chad gaming scientists over at Xbox blessed us with an update adding the game to the then ongoing backwards compatibility program. This was a project where Xbox engineers used the literal magic to make games that were beloved and games that were perhaps ahead of their time in some way shine. I'm talking 60 FPS, I'm talking 4K upscaling, HDR, the works. Originally released on the Xbox 360, or as it's also known, a potato, Ninja Gaiden 2 was a bit too much for that console to handle. The insane combat and huge amount of enemies on screen all losing limbs and spraying blood everywhere led to all kinds of slowdown and other issues. I mean, just check out the infamous staircase battle if you're curious about how bad it could really get. Despite all this, Ninja Gaiden 2 stood tall as a truly fantastic action game. The game doesn't have much downtime at all, as Ryu is constantly being assaulted on all sides by bullshit, and to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. Eventually, the Ninja Gaiden series would hop from Xbox to PlayStation consoles, and this is where the Sigma versions come into play. Ninja Gaiden Sigma was an attempt to update the original game with new cutscenes, bosses, items, and enemies, as well as rebalance the original game's punishing difficulty. Everyone's favorite side character, Big Titty Rachel, was also made playable for a few missions and even had an optional DLC survival mode. Now, Ninja Gaiden 1 had already been re-released back on the original Xbox, dubbed Ninja Gaiden Black. When comparing Sigma to Black, fans will probably never stop debating which is better, with Ninja Gaiden diehards generally siding with Black and more casual fans siding with Sigma because of the added content. Black is considered by many to be the pinnacle of 3D action games, still never being topped to this day. I mean, Ninja Gaiden Black? That kinda means something. It has a legacy. As for me, I actually enjoy Black and Sigma equally. I can play either one and not feel like I'm having a compromised experience despite Sigma's changes. A few years later, Ninja Gaiden 2 would get a PlayStation port as well, dubbed Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, with a bunch of new stuff added in. 3 new playable characters, Momiji from Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, Ayane from Dead or Alive, and Big Titty Rachel returning from the first game. They even added a 2-player online co-op mode, a very welcome addition. I have many fond memories of getting my ass blasted with a buddy by my side. This new stuff was great, but it came at a cost. Despite their best efforts, I consider Sigma 2 to be a worst experience that pretty much misses the mark on what made the original so special in the first place. Ninja Gaiden 2 is frenetic. The action is damn near non-stop, and bloody limbs and heads are being lopped off left and right. Battles in the original would feature many enemies at once, all with pretty low health so that it wasn't too overwhelming. But for reasons I don't feel like getting into or care about, the PlayStation version was not able to replicate the original game exactly. Additionally, other decisions were made in an attempt to, streamline the adventure. Key items and puzzles were removed, most previously locked doors are now just open for Ryu. The bow no longer uses any ammo at all, removing that small aspect of resource management. It's worse to control, and the ability to charge your ranged attacks using essence was also removed. Optional combat arenas were cut, and the enemy count was nerfed to hell, like just straight to hell. The lowest level of fucking hell. To compensate for this, Sigma 2 increased the health for each basic enemy, turning runs on higher difficulties into a real fucking grind. Now, Sigma 2 isn't a bad game. Don't misunderstand me. I played it for many years and I had a lot of fun with it. It's just that Sigma and OG Ninja Gaiden 2 are wildly different experiences to play through, and they feel like they were made with totally different goals in mind. What I personally wanted was an update to Ninja Gaiden 2 that kept more of the original game design intact, and that just wasn't in the cards back in 2009. Fast forward to 2025, over 15 years later, and Ninja Gaiden 2 is back. Announced and shadow dropped the same day at a recent Xbox Direct, this new version would have the honor of being named Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Black. Not Sigma. This was finally it. I mean, it had to be, right? They said it themselves. This was finally a proper, definitive version of Ninja Gaiden 2. Scouring the product page for any scraps of info I could find, I saw that the 3 extra characters originally added to Sigma 2 were going to remain playable in this new version. With that confirmation, I really was expecting this to be the full package. Could you blame me? I was so happy this game was getting another chance on hardware powerful enough to handle it. A chance to get back to what made Ninja Gaiden 2 so great for me personally, while also enjoying the Sigma 2 changes that weren't just born out of hardware limitations. All with upgraded visuals running on Unreal Engine 5? I mean, I was so happy. That's all I can really say. I was just so happy. California is literally burning all around me, but I was happy. Given how uncommon this situation was, I thought it would be fun to play this new version and the old version side by side to see all the changes. Full of excitement, I played the first mission of the original Ninja Gaiden 2, just as fantastic as I remembered it, running at a crisp 60 frames per second. Beautiful. Xbox magic on full display here. Seriously, how did they do this? I booted up the remaster, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, to do the same. And I was immediately greeted with an assault to the senses, pretty much the worst film grain and motion blur wombo combo I've ever fucking seen. But no biggie, there are plenty of options. I could just turn that right off, easy. Wait, how come I can't block? Did they change the button layout? Wow, okay, looks like they did. Okay, but again, that's fine. There are plenty of options, and you can even remap buttons to be whatever you want. Okay, those problems are sorted out. Let's pick the same difficulty as before and dive in properly. And that's weird. Why do I have the Azuna drop already? You don't get that move until you upgrade any of your weapons at least once. Well, actually, that's something that Sigma 2 changed, and it's for the better, so okay, not a problem. It's actually good. Let me just hit this first save point and get going. Oh, it's not here. You know, this save point was moved to down the nearby path in Sigma 2. I wonder if they just took the game's starting save, maybe? Like, I'm sure it's fine. There aren't as many enemies as the original level I just played, though, and the difficulty level I chose is the same. I haven't even run into any fireball throwing mage ninja, only basic ninja for the most part. Maybe they just made the beginning of the game a bit easier? That's when I realized that this was not going to be Ninja Gaiden 2. This was going to be Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. Again, right on cue, all the problems of Sigma 2 started to rear their ugly head. I hate to say it, but I'm very disappointed in this release, especially considering Sigma 2 just got an update with the release of the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. The devs choosing to touch that version of the game again just seems like a waste of time. On top of that, the online mode was gutted again, so we can't even enjoy the co-op gameplay of the original. One of the few things I liked about Sigma 2, it's like how The Last of Us just kept getting remastered and remade, but the multiplayer has never left the PS3. Developers, stop doing that! With this realization, all my excitement left me. And to be honest, I felt lied to. That's not something I'd normally feel when it comes to stuff like this, but this time it just hit different. This is Ninja Gaiden 2 we're talking about. It's comparable to what I felt with Sonic Origins, to be honest. It just sucks when a remaster misses the mark for whatever reason. Team Ninja, you guys are great, truly, but please, don't come out with something that you claim is definitive and not have it be so. It's that simple. A definitive version would combine the best of all these different versions of Ninja Gaiden 2, and even more than that, the branding of Black suggests going back to the original as the foundation. Who was asking for another version of Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2? We just got one. All I can really say is I hope to God Ninja Gaiden 4 is great. Ragebound 2, they both need to be great. Just because the Ninja Gaiden fans have been starving for years, that doesn't mean that they can just throw us whatever and we gobble it up. I consider myself at least a little bit lucky in only grazing this bullet because I didn't actually buy the Master Collection. I mean, why would I when I've got original Ninja Gaiden 2 running at 60 frames per second right over there? I didn't have to buy this new version either, since Xbox owed me a Game Pass sub due to previous slights against me. Thank you, Xbox. But this game went from being a day one purchase to being something I'll pick up later on a deep sale. Like I said earlier, Sigma 2 is not bad. I don't want anyone to think I'm saying it's a bad game. No version of Ninja Gaiden 2 is bad. But all the changes made to the game make it a worse experience for me when compared to that original game. Some of the more problematic elements of Sigma were fixed in this version at least. For example, originally, weapon upgrades were free, and you were gated by the story on which weapons you could upgrade and when. This has been changed back to just buying upgrades with essence. The censored gore is also back to how it was originally. This is a very bloody game. Unfortunately, I still have to deal with the decreased enemy count and the tankier enemies to go along with it. I still have to deal with the forced extra chapters that I feel hurt the pacing. I still have to deal with the removal of items and weapons like the windmill shuriken, ultimate techniques for the bow, water combat in its entirety, all of the key items and puzzles, New Game Plus, and even the incendiary shuriken. It's just a bummer. Look, Team Ninja, if 2025 is supposed to be the year of the ninja, it's not off to a great start. Since Ragebound and 4 are 100% brand new projects, I do still have high hopes. But unfortunately for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, we still aren't quite at definitive. They remove the motion control boob jiggle 0 out of 10, the worst remaster!